everywhere you read about the destruction of crops. I remember the story of almost a quarter-mile long pile of oranges as high as your head, and they'd throw gasoline up over it and set fire to it. And that outraged me. That filled me with rage. And it continues to fill me with rage. We were hungry. Then you think, God Almighty, what's the matter? Where's the sense in this circumstance?
There's no excuse for poverty in a state as rich as California. We can produce so much food that we have to dump it into our bays.
Upton Sinclair was a world-famous writer and socialist. His 1906 novel, The Jungle, exposed unsanitary conditions in the meatpacking industry and led to America's first federal meat inspection law. Sinclair had written 47 books attacking powerful industries and institutions. Hollywood, the press, the church would not forgive nor forget his attacks.
When I first came into the socialist movement, we had our wonderful dream that we held of perfect and complete democracy achieved overnight, and that was lovely to talk about. But in the meantime, we had a set of immediate demands.
The Socialist Party of America had campaigned for national unemployment and health insurance and old age pensions. Socialists believed capitalism was doomed, and they advocated government takeover of private industry. But in the depths of the Depression, Sinclair feared that people could not wait for the socialist dream. With the elections of 1934 coming up, he switched to the Democratic Party. His plan to become governor of California.
I have been asked to stand as a candidate at the Democratic primaries and to put before the people a program to end poverty in California.
It was Upton Sinclair who gave me the real stimulus going into the direction of the political side of what the kingdom of heaven or earth should be like.
We needed a voice. We needed somebody who would rally the people. And he did present a program.
To promote his program, Sinclair wrote a 60-page book predicting his own election. His plan, epic, End Poverty in California, called for the state to turn over idle factories and farms to the unemployed.
There was so much good land in California that wasn't being farmed, so many factories that were empty and silent, and so many able people who could have worked those farms and factories. And we just thought of the waste.
Sinclair predicted that a takeover by the unemployed would meet strong opposition.
Get up!
The whole power of vested privilege will rise against it, he wrote. They are afraid the plan will put into the minds of the unemployed the idea of getting access to land and machinery by the use of their ballots. The epic plan was inspired in part by California's cooperatives, communities where the poor and unemployed bartered goods and services. In 1934, California had 176 cooperatives. Sinclair proposed a statewide system of cooperatives based on production for use instead of production for profit. He believed it would ultimately put profit-making enterprises out of business.
We do not intend what is called subsistence farming. We mean mass production under modern conditions. The land workers are to have the best land and the factory workers the best machinery. And they will be able to produce great quantities of wealth and to make comfort and plenty for themselves.
Life in the cooperatives was romanticized in the Hollywood film Our Daily Bread.
Hey, Carpenter! Yeah? Look, I'm a stonemason. I'll build you a fireplace if you'll set up the framework for my house. Okay. These stones have got me licked. And I don't do so good with the wood myself.
Our Daily Bread was the brainchild of director King Vidor. Karen Morley played the female lead.
It was not the kind of part I really was very interested in because it was a goody-goody lead, and I was much more interested in playing women who died or killed people. King Vidor was a very musical person. His films always, you can see, are similar to music. And the climax of Daily Bread was set to music by metronome. When we shot those scenes, there was a metronome going for us all the time. I had no idea what a co-op was, and I didn't know whether it was a good idea or not. But I think that King, who was a conservative person, had an idea that people should just get together and help each other.
Much to Upton Sinclair's surprise, his campaign took off like wildfire. He traveled the state promoting the epic plan. Within weeks, his book, I, Governor, was the fastest-selling book in California. The bumblebee became the symbol of his army of volunteers. Hundreds of Epic clubs formed the heart of the campaign. Epic supporters published a weekly newspaper with a circulation of 500,000. They ran Epic rodeos, drama groups, picnics, and sewing bees.
These billboards sprouted all the way around. It was quite spectacular. You couldn't help spending time reading each one and going from one to another. I thought it was very hopeful because it meant change, and there are lots of things about California and life as we knew it that weren't totally satisfactory.
Epic meetings were big mass meetings in those days. It was amazing the crowds that he drew. And he depended on the people for his money. So people who had 10 cents contributed 10 cents, and they stormed the meetings.